We often get asked, you know, so what are you drinking right now? Or what's your house wine? And it's a really hard question to ask us, to ask me. I got 3,000 of my babies here that I'm surrounded by on a day-to-day basis. And it's just the whim, it's the spark of the moment. It's like, you know, you finish up your shift at 6 o'clock and you're like, what are we having for dinner tonight? What am I feeling like, et cetera, et cetera. But the one wine I will tell you that I almost always have around as house wine is great Viognier. I have a personal affection for Viognier. I think it's one of the coolest white wine grapes on the planet. So full of character, so distinctive. You know, I'm a big fan of Gewürztraminer. I'm a big fan of a lot of these grapes that just really, this is me, you know, and some grapes don't always do that. You know, Chardonnay, you know, kind of takes the face of, you know, the élevage and what you're doing with it, et cetera, et cetera. Riesling is always Riesling, but sometimes look at me, sometimes not. Again, whether you do it sweet, dry, et cetera, terroir. But man, when you have a Viognier in front of you, you know what you're getting. I mean, well, from a character standpoint, qualitatively, that's a different story, which we're going to get into in a second. But varietally, it's so distinctive. And more often than not, I'm in the mood for it. I'm in the mood for that stone fruit, that peach, apricot, the crazy florals, the honeysuckle, all of it kind of playing in, and it goes so good with the local cuisines here, and marries so well with the food, and you can drink a lot of it. It's fantastic. That being said, not all Viogniers are created equal. I'm not sure if we've covered this in a video before, just discussing what a pain in the ass Viognier is. In the vineyard, it's a real pain in the ass. Ask anybody that grows, produces, makes Viognier, and they're gonna be like, Jesus, I don't know why I do this. It is susceptible to every disease, every bug loves it, difficult to grow, yields can be gnarly, just everything about it's variable and a pain in the ass. In the winery, it's still a little bit of a pain in the ass again. Do you oak it? Do you not oak it? What mood is your Viognier in today? You know, it's temperamental. It is a temperamental grape that when coddled and grown properly just delivers just the most wonderful white wine drinking experience. And that's what we have in front of us today with the Yves Cuilleron Viognier, Les Vignes d'à Coté. In my horrible French, thank you. Now, this is one of my house white wines every year. Cuilleron nails this every year. Yves is one of the kings of Condrieu. He is a Condrieu specialist. Of course, they own over 100 acres of vineyard land in the Northern Rhone Valley. The Cuillerons, they make a large array of really great white and red wines in the Rhone Valley. They're one of the best producers. Yves Cuilleron is one of the greatest names in Northern Rhone wine. But Condrieu is kind of like his home base. His winery is nearby Condrieu, and a lot of the vineyard he owns is in the village of Chavanay, which is a short, call it 7-8 minute drive from Condrieu. So just straight down the road, straight south, you're in Chavanay, and that's where he owns some of these really terrific vineyards, hillside vineyards that produce his beautiful, what we call IGP rinds from Marsanne, from Roussanne, and our favorite, from Viognier. So this is 100% from what they call the Collines Rhodaniennes. And Collines Rhodaniennes is a fancy word saying like the hills around Condrieu, you know, the hills around Côte-Rôtie, you know, all the little hillsides and swales in the northern part of the Rhone Valley. A lot of them can be identified with the IGP Collines Rhodaniennes. And he's owned these vineyards for a while. He knows exactly what to do with the Viognier grape. He is a Viognier whisperer of the highest order. And all this talking is making me thirsty. I want to try this wine. It's actually on our wine bar right now, so I'm going to stick my card in the machine and make the big squishy sucking sound and enjoy this. Whoops, hold on. I'm getting 3 ounces because I'm worth it. Who's going to tell me no? You know, who's going to tell me no? Is Patrick going to? Are you going to tell me no? That's right. That's right. Run things. Authority figure. Cheers. Let's talk 23. Let's talk the vintage real quick. It was a vintage that started off higgledy-piggledy. Then a huge rain event in September but I think some of the Viognier was picked before then. And before that actually was quite the heat wave. So the biggest issue they had was getting the grapes to full ripeness. So if you handled your business right, you had the heat wave, but your grapes didn't get overripe, didn't completely shut down, and you managed to pick like either right at the beginning or right before the rain event. And from what I can smell of this wine, Cuilleron did just that. 23 was tricky, but if handled properly, you made unctuous, beautiful wines that are just so full of fruit and flavor. And this 23 is that. Try this again. We tried the first time about a week ago, right around New Year's actually, 2 weeks ago. And the wine was just effusive and gorgeous, and no exception here. In fact, on the machine, you know, once it's been on the machine a couple days, it starts just, it has that little slight settling in, and you get even more Condrieu vibes from this. That apricot honeysuckle character is even more pronounced. How endearing is that? That is just a hug of a white wine. Just a nice, comfy, God, just a nice, it's a beautiful, wow. Wow. I love Viognier so much I can marry it. Don't tell my wife. Anyway, moving on. It's aged in a range of barrel sizes, vats, some smaller neutral barrels. So the vessel isn't what this wine is about. This wine is about what happens in the vineyard. And these are very special vineyards. These are basically Condrieu level vineyards, in my opinion, that can't produce Condrieu because they're not in ... Condrieu. Accordingly, they are just good old boring Viognier, les vignes de Coté, which I think means the vines nearby. So it alludes to the fact that these vines are really close to Condrieu, y'all, and Cuilleron wants you to know this. Boy, just one of the most joyful white wines you can have. Not because of oak, not because of tricks, all native yeast fermented, no new wood. It is just the purity of the Viognier fruit in this wine, which if you haven't hunkered down with a great glass of Viognier, you're really doing yourself a disservice. This is gorgeous. That's sushi or Thai food tonight. Might be Thai. I don't think it's no longer. Yeah. Yes. And we always have one of the greatest prices in the country on this wine, 20 bucks. This Viognier for 20 bucks? F off, you kidding me? This is a value of the highest order. And accordingly, you should buy cases and cases of it, Patrick. Would you accordingly purchase that much of this wine? Long story. We'll get to it in another piece. Accordingly, you should buy many cases of this.